Hello team, happy Sunday. How are we all doing today? Are we thumbs up if we're awake, thumbs down if we're feeling slightly asleep and ready for bed already? I think I'm somewhere in the middle, to be honest. Perfect. Well, the playlist for today's stretch session is in the chat if you would like to use it. So feel free to open that up. I'll let you know when to pop it on. Just make sure you're not on shuffle so that it goes through in order. All you need for this evening's session is your little cushion, as always, a band or dressing gown cord, pair of tights, anything you can use as your little lever for today. And also make sure you've got some water as well. If you can try and be near a wall or a chair that you can use to support yourself, that would be great, as we're going to be working through a few standing stretches today as well. Right, let's get cracking, shall we? So pop on those playlists from the beginning. And we're going to come over to our mats, but we're actually going to be starting in a standing position today, which is a little bit different to our normal. But we're going to be working through a few more active stretches this week. So a few more where we're moving into them standing, kind of a few less lying and sitting down stretches, just because we've got some popular areas which are very nice to be stretched stood up. So just going to start in our standing position. Feet hip distance apart. Just want you to remember throughout today's session to try and keep the knees a little bit loose. So make sure you're not locking them out really straight, just keep them a little loose and try and keep your posture nice and upright as well. So we're just going to start off by working through some shoulder rolls. So we're going to take the shoulders forwards, up to the ears, all the way back, squeezing those shoulder blades together and down. I'm just going to work through 5 this way. Starting to breathe in through that nose and out through the mouth as we go. Now, if you find any points where you're clicking or cracking a little bit more, just slow down the roll as you reach those to help iron them out. Well done. And the last one backwards. And we're just going to stop at the bottom, give the shoulders a little bit of a shake out before we come back the other way. So rounding them together, bringing them up to the shoulders and then bringing them forwards this time. And again, we're going to work through 5 reps this way at your own pace, but making sure, as on the other side, if there's any clicks or sore bits, that you just take a little bit longer to round through in those areas. Well done, guys. And last one coming forwards. And as you bring those shoulders forwards this time, just bringing yourself into a forward fold. So hanging nice and heavy. Don't worry if the hands aren't touching the floor. Just keep that light bend in the knees and bring yourself to wherever you feel comfortable. I want you to hold that head really heavy. Allow the upper body to collapse towards that floor and start to feel a stretch through the backs of those legs as you do so. Now your hands might be on the floor, they might be on the feet, they might be on the shins, they might be on the thighs, wherever you can get to depth-wise, that's absolutely fine. Wherever you are, I just want you to start swaying from right to left and just start feeling that weight shift from one side to the other. And just notice if one leg perhaps feels slightly heavier or more tense than the other. I just want you to take that into today's stretch session. So if the right hand side is feeling a little bit tighter already, then just know that throughout today's session, we want to try and stretch that side a little bit more. If they're feeling about the same, then that's absolutely fine. And coming back to the center, we're just going to take a deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, I just want you to bend a tiny little bit further into that stretch. Allow yourself to be a little bit heavier. Well done. And now we're going to walk the hands around to the left-hand side. So if your hands aren't on the floor, just make an invisible floor wherever you are and walk them round to the side. And you should start to feel a nice deep stretch through the right-hand side of the core. Let me just turn around so anyone needs to see. You should be feeling a nice deep stretch through the mid-back into that shoulder and still in the backs of the legs as well. I'm just holding here, breathing in. And on the next exhale, if you want to take your hands any further. Well done. Now walking the hands either on the floor or your invisible floor, round to the right-hand side this time. And starting to just stretch through that back on the left-hand side. Again, noticing if you can feel any difference between one side of the body and the other. If you can, then just make sure that you focus on that side of the body a little bit more in any of our upper body stretches throughout today's session. Bringing the hands back to the center, we're just going to take a really slow roll up from the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae. So we're going to work through 10 seconds. Try and keep the eyes closed as you do this. So we're just relaxing through the body and there's no tension of us trying to look somewhere with our eyes. So all together for 10, starting to roll up through the legs, through the hips. The last thing that comes up is going to be those shoulders and that head. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rolling those shoulders back when you reach the top. Just bringing those hands together behind the back, interlinking the fingers together. We're just going to bring the shoulder blades together as we stretch the arms behind us and feel that nice deep stretch across the chest as we do so. And whilst we're here, just looking up to the sky, bring those shoulder blades together and breathing through. It might feel a little trickier to breathe in this position, but just focus on trying to get as much oxygen through that inhale as you can. Well done. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing those arms down to the side, just giving everything a little bit of a shake out and coming back to our neutral position. Now from here, we're just going to work through a few arm stretches before moving on. So we're going to take the right arm across to the left-hand side of the body, bring the left arm up and under. We're just going to take a hold of that arm. Now I want you to focus on imagining there's a weight or a brick on your shoulder that's pushing it down towards the floor. So it's not tensed up by the ear, it's down and pushing away from you. And that's going to help to feel a little bit more of that stretch through the shoulder and into the upper arm as well. If you'd like to take this one a little bit further, then start to tilt the head over towards the left-hand side as well. And that's just going to increase to add a little bit of a neck stretch in as well. And remember, with every exhale, it's just our opportunity in these stretches to deepen them slightly if you can and if you would like to. Well done, Gemma. Looking nice. Yes, Emily. Good work, guys. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just bring everything back down. Bring the head to the center. Rolling out those shoulders before we bring the left arm across to the right-hand side, folding the right arm up and under, and imagining that brick on the left-hand shoulder this time. Again, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And if you want to take it a little bit further, tilting the head over to the right-hand side this time, and starting to feel a bit of a stretch down the left-hand side of the neck as well. Well done. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Remember, you can close your eyes down at any point in today's session, just to help you tune out of the world and really tune in to what you're feeling from the body. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, releasing those hands back down to the sides again. Just going to work through a little bit of neck mobility now that we've stretched it out a little bit as well. So we're going to take the chin down to the chest and then bringing ourselves over to the right-hand side, bringing the head all the way back and looking up at the ceiling as we bring it around to the left. Chin comes to the left shoulder and then down to the center again. When you reach the bottom, back the other way for me, over to the left first, round to the back, round to the right, and down to the center. And when you reach the middle, back the other way. Well done, keeping it nice and slow. And last time, going back the other way once more. And once you reach that chin to chest position again, allowing the body to once again come into that heavy forward fold for me. Nice and heavy as we come back over. Remember that light bend in the knee. And see if perhaps this time your fold is a little bit deeper than it was last time. Maybe if the hands were on the thighs, they're now just below the knee. They're on the shin, maybe now they're near the ankle. Just see if you can get a little bit further. And from here, we're going to work again into those back stretches. So we're going to either take the hands to the floor or to our invisible floor. And we're going to walk them around to the left-hand side to begin with, stretching through the right-hand side of the back. Can you tell we've got lots of you that have been sitting at desks and all your backs are feeling really tight? Well done, Charlotte. Nice, guys. Breathing in and out. And slowly walking the hands around now to the right-hand side. And breathing in and out, holding here as deep as you can. If you can get those hands to the floor, give it a go. If not, just try and lower your imaginary floor a little bit. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing those hands back to the center. We're going to put the hands slightly further forward, step the feet back a little, and send the bum up to the sky as we come into our downward dog. Now, the hamstrings are probably feeling a little tight, so if you need to walk through, that's absolutely fine. Coming onto one tiptoe and then the other, lengthening and shortening that hamstring on each side. Well done, guys. And when you feel ready, coming to bring those heels as low as you can towards that floor, into our deepest stretch that we can. Breathing in and out. In and out. We're just going to hold here for another 20 or so seconds. Close down those eyes if you can. Focus on sending that bum back and up to the sky at the same time. Well done. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to step the left foot forward to the middle of the mat, lower the right knee down to the floor, and come into our half kneeling position. I'll wait until we're all there. Now, if you want to stop and have a little water break now, it's a good time to just have a little break before we go into our next bit. Now the hips are back again this week, I'm told, so we're going to work through a few hip and glute stretches before we then move on to some calf and ankle stretches as well. So to start off today, we're just going to work into our mobility on the left hip to begin with. So we're going to start just bouncing into that left hip, bringing the weight forwards and backwards. Remember, if you need, you can tuck a cushion underneath that right knee if you need to soften the blow of the floor a little bit. And if you want to start bringing that left knee out to the side, perhaps a little bit as well, or adding in a few circles using the hands, just starting to warm it up and stretch it open a little bit. Well done. And then we're going to heel toe the left foot over to the right-hand side of the mat, bringing the left knee down to the left-hand side of the mat. We're going to come into our pigeon stretch. Now, as always, we've got different levels of the pigeon stretch. So either up on your hands, and if this is enough for you, you should be feeling the stretch through that left glute mainly and hip. If you want to take this a little bit further, then feel free to come down onto those forearms And if you want to take it even further still, feel free to fold yourself on over into that deep lying position. Grabbing a pillow if you fancy, and just holding here. We're going to be here for just under 2 minutes. So it's going to be a really long, deep stretch through that hip. All I want you to focus on is keeping the whole body relaxed. So with every exhale, just think, can you feel any tightness anywhere? If you can, is it the shoulders? Is it the glutes? Is it tensing up in that hip? In the quad or the hamstring perhaps? Just sigh it out and let it go. Feel free to add a bit of a rock forwards and backwards, or a little bit of a bounce if you need. And if at any point you need to come up out of the position you're in to a slightly easier version of the pigeon, then feel free to do so and reset yourself at any point. Just over a minute left here. Focusing on that breathing. Try and take the breath in through the nose for 4. Sigh it away through the mouth for 4. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Relax, relax, relax. The last few seconds. Well done. Releasing any tension now that we can feel. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, bringing ourselves onto our hands from whichever pigeon we've been in. Going to tuck the toe on the right foot first off, and then bring yourself onto your hands and step the left foot back to meet it. And before pushing ourselves back into our downward dog again, pedaling through those feet just to keep it a little bit active and stretch out that left-hand side. Now that left leg and right leg are probably feeling a little bit imbalanced, but we will soon sort that out. When you're ready, stepping the right foot through to the middle, lowering the back knee to the floor again, and coming into our half kneel. Perfect. Great. And moving into our opening of the hip on the right hand side now. If at any point you need to kind of support yourself with a chair or wall, please feel free to do so. Or if at any point any of the stretches get too much, then just bring yourself out of them to a comfortable position. Take a few moments before joining us again. Bouncing forwards, backwards, maybe opening round through the hip. Nice, Emma, well done. And when you're ready, heel toeing the right foot over to the left-hand side of the mat this time, and bringing the right knee down to the right-hand side of the mat as we bring ourselves into the pigeon on the right-hand side. I want you to try and take the same position as you did on the left-hand side if you can. So if that was on the hands, try there first. If that was on the forearms, try there. If that was all the way over, then give it a go there. If it feels too tight, then just come out of that position to the one before and gradually try and move yourself there throughout the next 2 minutes. Again, our focus is to release any tension that we can feel here. Might be in the lower back. Likely that it might be you can feel your hip pinching slightly, or that glute feels a bit tender. Remember, you're the only person that can hear you, so feel free to sigh it away nice and deeply with each breath, relaxing yourself just a little bit more into that pigeon stretch. Well done, Gemma. Looking really good. Nice, Emily. Well done. Just over a minute left here, guys. So start to focus on that breathing now. Close those eyes down and bring it to that nose. In for 4. And out for 4. In for 4. And out for 4. If you want to take the stretch any deeper, now is the time to try and do so. If it's too far, just come back to where you were. Well done, guys. Good work. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing yourself back up onto those hands from wherever you were in your pigeon. Tucking the left toe this time and sending the right foot back to join as we push into that downward dog. And this time those legs should feel a little bit more even for you, hopefully. Well done. And when you're ready, bring yourself to fully plant or almost plant as far as you can, the heels to the floor into your full downward dog. If it's too much, don't worry. Keep bending through those knees. Holding here. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're just going to walk those hands really slowly in towards the feet, back into our forward fold. And all together, we're going to take a really slow roll up again. So our full 10 seconds, vertebrae by vertebrae. Let's go. Slowly coming up through the hips, through the lower back, through the mid back. And in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done, guys. Just give yourself a little bit of a shake off and grab yourself another sip of water if you'd like a quick break. Now, if you aren't near a wall or a chair, now is your time to move so that you are, pre-warning. We're going to start working through some stretches that you can do unsupported, but it is really helpful to be near a wall to do them. These are mainly focused on the calf and the Achilles, which are some areas we've been having a couple of issues with. So we're going to start off by stepping the left foot forwards, like so. The right foot stays where it is, and we want to keep that heel planted on the floor. So when we start bending the left leg here, it's really important that you don't bend it further than you can keep that heel on the floor. We don't want to see that heel coming off at any point. Keep it planted. So if that means it's only a tiny bend, that's absolutely fine. Now, if you'd like to make this a little bit easier for yourself, you can go into the wall rather than side by side on the wall, and that way you can really lean into it. But I'm just going to demonstrate sideways on here. So if you're leaning into the wall, you're looking a bit like this. And you should start to feel a really nice stretch down the back of the calf and into that Achilles as well. And just slowly taking a deep breath in and out, in and out. And if you're ready, just bring that bend maybe a little bit further, bit by bit, but no need. If you can feel the stretch enough and it's enough and intense enough for you today, then feel free to keep it where you are. You might also feel a little bit of a stretch in the hamstring as well if they're particularly tight. That's the upper part of the leg, but that is absolutely fine. And we're going to work through this stretch 3 times. So we're just going to carefully bring ourselves back out, stepping it up. And now we're going to take the right leg forward and exactly the same on this side, keeping the left foot straight to the floor, bending into that right knee. Remember, if you're leaning into the wall, that's absolutely fine. And into the other calf. This one is a lot tighter. Anyone else? Well done, guys. And again, remember you can loosen off and bend a little bit further. If you want to increase that intensity, add a little bit more of a bend. But if it's enough, just stay where you are. Breathing in and out. Well done, guys. Holding for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully stepping back and changing over to left foot forward, right foot back again. So we're just going to be switching between the legs one at a time. So back to feeling that deep stretch down the back of the right calf this time. Now this time you should feel that stretch a little bit later. So you should be able to bend a little bit further, or if you're on the wall, bring yourself a little bit closer into the wall perhaps as well. If it's still feeling a little bit tight, don't push it too far, but try and edge it just a tiny bit further than you did last time. And if you need to ease off and then go back in, that's absolutely fine. Well done. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully bring the left foot back and stepping into the right foot as we stretch through the left calf this time. Well done, guys. Just going to come check how we're doing. Nice, Emily. Use that wall, press into it. Well done, Charlotte and Mum. Well done, guys. Nice, Gemma. Keep it going. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing it back. We just got one more on each side. So stepping forwards once more. And stepping and bending into that left leg. If you're on the wrong leg, don't worry. Just do alternative ones each time. It's been a long week. If you can't tell your left from your right, don't stress. Nice, guys. And just one final inhale here. And as we exhale, just allow yourself to sink just a tiny bit more into that stretch, and holding here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. And carefully stepping back before we go into our last one now, stepping forwards. Carefully breathing in and out. And once again, taking one deep breath in. And on the exhale, just sinking a tiny bit lower, if you can. And holding for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Well done, guys. Just want you to bend your back leg. So you should have the left leg at the back, the right leg at the front, and come back into that half kneeling. If you're the wrong way around, just shuffle so it's left leg back, right leg forward for me. Perfect. Now, you likely want to grab a cushion for this bit, but you are going to need your band as well. So just grab them if you don't have them next to you already. We're just going to work into those quads a little bit with one of our loved but hated stretches. So with your right foot forward, left foot back, you're going to turn over the left shoulder and either using your band to loop around the foot and then lever the foot in towards you, or just using the hand to bring the foot in towards the glute. You're going to start to feel a nice deep stretch down the front of that left quadricep. Now, everyone will be at different depths. Don't mind at all how close to the glute it is, as long as you can feel that stretch down the front of the left leg. Remember, if it's a little bit sore on the knee, then feel free to pop a little cushion underneath if you need. Nice deep breath in and out. And as you breathe out, just bending a little bit into that right leg or pulling the foot a little bit closer to the bum, just increasing that stretch a tiny bit for me. We're not going to stay here for too long. It's a very intense one. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully lowering that left leg down to the floor for me. Bring the right leg back to join it and then bring the left leg forward. So we swap sides. Well done. And turning over the right shoulder this time, either using our band to loop the foot and bring it in, or using the hand to bring it in. Just starting to stretch into the right quad this time. If you need to keep one hand on the wall or a chair for support, that's totally fine. If you can bring the second hand free, feel free to use it to apply a little bit more pressure. Remember that cushion is available under the knee if you like. And a nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, just bending through that front leg a little bit if you can, or bringing the foot a little bit closer in towards the glutes if you want to take the stretch a little bit further. Nice, Emily. Well done, Emma. And not too much longer. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done, guys. Just lowering that foot back towards the floor. I want you to bring the left knee back to join it now. Take the knees out so they're the width of your mat, so the knees are slightly wide. And we're just going to come down into our child's pose. So stretching the arms out towards the top of the mat and sitting ourselves back towards the heels. I'm just going to take a couple of moments here, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, perhaps walking the fingers a little bit further forward if you can. Feeling a stretch down the back, but also in the arms, in the armpits, in the sides, outsides of the top of the back as well. Well done. Just closing those eyes down. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just want you to tuck those toes and bring yourself up into a high plank position for me. As soon as you reach that high plank, just lower the knees to the floor, untuck the toes, and bring the chest down to the floor. Taking the hands so that they're next to the chest, we're just going to push up into our upward dog. Now get yourself where this feels comfortable. As we've said before, if you keep the legs narrow, you're going to feel it more in the core. If you take them wide, you're going to feel it more in the front of the hips. So wherever you need the stretch today, feel free to go there. And we've got the option, if you wish, to add in a few looks over the left shoulder and over the right shoulder. Just stretching through that back, over the left, and over the right. And coming back to center, bring the feet together, knees out wide, just sitting yourself once more back into that child's pose. Another little breather here. I'm just going to perform exactly the same little circuit one more time. So when you're ready, tucking the toes and bringing yourself up to that high plank. But this time we're just going to hold here, squeeze that bum and engage that core for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering the knees to the mat, untucking the toes, lowering the chest. And when you're ready, pushing up again into that upward dog, keeping the legs either narrow or wide, depending on what you need. And adding in those looks over the shoulders if you'd like to. If you didn't try them last time, maybe try adding them in this time if you'd like to. Well done, guys. And this time, we're just going to lower our chest back down to the floor. Going to take a hold of our cushion and gradually roll ourselves over onto our backs. Coming down to rest with the head on the cushion and the back flat to the floor. Now we're going to start with the feet flat to the floor and the knees bent for our final section of today's class. For this last little bit, I encourage you, if you can, to keep your eyes closed and try and use my voice as a guide, just so that you can really tune out from the world for these last few minutes of today's class. We're going to take the right foot onto the left thigh, bending at the knee, and then leaning through the gap in the middle of the legs, taking either a hold of the back of the hamstring or the shin, depending on how deep you want to take the stretch. Hamstring's a little looser, shin is a little deeper. And then bringing that left leg in towards you and feeling a nice deep stretch down that right glute and through the hip, perhaps into the hamstring as well. Try and keep those shoulders relaxed, don't let them tense up. And on your next exhale, just hugging it a little bit closer. And every time we breathe out, just give it a little bit more of a hug until you reach that little soft spot. And then I just want you to hold it there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lowering the left foot down to the floor, uncrossing the right foot and crossing the left over onto the right. Again, leaning through our gap and taking either a hold of the back of the hamstring or the shin, depending on how deep you want to take the stretch. And starting to pull that right leg in towards the chest and feeling that deep stretch down the left glute this time. Well done, Emily. Nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth until you reach that sweet spot. And we're holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering the right foot to the floor for me, uncrossing the left foot, and then just bringing both the knees into the chest, giving them a nice big hug, and just carefully rolling across the back from left to right, just using the floor to massage the spine and the back. If you find any points where it's feeling a little tender or sore, just stay there and do some small rocks from side to side on that area for a few moments. Keeping the breathing going the whole time. Well done. And coming back to center, lowering the feet to the floor and then walking the feet away so that the legs are flat to the floor. We're just going to finish off today with a few spinal stretches. So we're going to take the right hand to the outside of the left knee. We're going to take the left arm out to the side, so either in a cactus or out straight, whichever you can do with the room that you've got. Turning the head to the left arm, and then using the right hand to bring that left leg over to the right hand side. And if you feel any little clicks, don't worry. It's perfectly normal with this one. Nice deep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. If the eyes aren't already closed down, I encourage you to try now for these last few moments. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully rolling back to center. Bring the left foot back to the floor. Taking the right arm out to the right hand side this time. And taking the head to look at the right arm. The left hand to the outside of the right knee. And then levering it over to the left hand side. Keeping the gaze to the right arm the whole time. Well done, Gemma. And keeping that breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Well done. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully rolling yourself back to center. Taking the right foot down to meet the left. Bringing one hand onto the belly, one hand onto the chest. Closing down the eyes if you haven't already. And just encouraging yourself. Take some deep breaths in through the nose. Sigh them away and sink yourself into that mat. And we're just going to stay here for the final few moments of today's session. I'm going to leave you to tune out and empty that mind ahead of a fresh week tomorrow. I will come back to you when it's time to finish today's session. Now, if you would like to stay here for a little while longer, please feel free to do so. If you're ready to finish off today's session, then just carefully rolling yourself over onto whichever side you wish into a little fetal position, keeping the eyes closed. And when you're ready, keeping the eyes closed again, using the hands to just carefully push yourself up and into a cross-legged position. Now, when you cross your legs, I just want you to stop for a moment and cross them the opposite way, just so that we're stretching out that slightly tighter side of the body. And all together, we're just going to finish off today's session with one really nice deep breath in through the nose and sighing it away. Bringing the hands up to the eyes and covering the eyes. And when you're ready, just blinking the eyes open into the hands and slowly moving them away as you finish today's session. Well done, guys. I'm gonna come on over. How are we doing? Are we all feeling very sleepy? Gemma's like, yeah, had a nap. Thanks, Lil. Well done, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. As always, I will upload the session into True Coach this evening, so that if you want to do the session at any point later this week as well, then it will be there for you. A reminder that we've got loads of our stretching sessions in there too. So if you're ever having a midweek, I should stretch, but I can't encourage myself to, you got no excuse, because I can encourage you virtually, so it's fine. Well done, team. I will stay on the call in case anyone's got any questions, but if not, enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and I will talk to you all probably in the morning. Bye, guys.
Bye.